Today, we're diving straight into a major development that is defining the political landscape and stirring intense debate across the nation. Yesterday, the Senate passed a long-awaited Electoral Act amendment bill. However, in a move that has drawn immediate and fierce criticism, they rejected a key amendment that would have made the electronic transmission of election results mandatory. This decision strikes at the heart of a fundamental question. Electronic transmission of results, should it be compulsory? Now, the reaction has been swift. The major opposition parties, including the People's Democratic Party, PDP, the African Democratic Congress, ADC, and the New Nigerian People Party, NNPP, have united to condemn the Senate's move, framing it as a direct blow to electoral integrity and transparency ahead of the 2027 polls. So the battle lines are drawn. On one side, a Senate that has chosen not to mandate this technology. On the other, a coalition of opposition and civil society groups insisting it is indispensable for free and fair elections. This is our questions for you this morning, and it's a straightforward one. Should the electronic transmission of results be compulsory? Is it the non-negotiable safeguard and our democracy needs, or are there legitimate reasons to avoid making it mandatory? We're opening the lines right now. Call and tell us. You can call us on the numbers displayed on your TV screen. You can also send WhatsApp messages on same numbers displayed on your television. How these are the issues.
Out of all that has been amended so far on the electoral amendment bill, looking at it, the one that a lot have qualms with is the immediate transmission of results. Now, there are lots of factors when it comes to being able to transmit immediately. But let's take our first caller of the morning. Good morning, Ade.
Good morning, Ade.
Ade calling from London.
Yes, thank you for joining us. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Yes, to me, I'm totally against the mandatory, and I will tell you why. You see, when you say mandatory, that means no alternative. You just have to do it. I'm totally against it. With our level of technology in Nigeria, because these things can happen. Even as you are sitting in your studio, you can send money to your friend, and your friend will not get the money for 3 days. You complain to the bank, it will take you 3 months before they give you back the money. You can go to ATM, put your card, and money will come out. And when you complain, it takes 3 months to rectify. That is technology. So when you not say mandatory for an election that people are waiting for results, to me, no, it should be flexible, because it will be both electronics and manual. It should be alternative. It shouldn't be mandatory. It may should be then rather than shall. Because I've sent money to some people and they don't get the money. I take calls, everything for me to threaten the bank before they inform my money. And that's what I did myself, and other people are doing the same. I'm falling to that trap. So when you say mandatory, we are not right enough for that. On election, other things, yes. Election that you are eager. And secondly, it can be hacked. Because people can be there with their hacking monitor and they will hack the results right in that polling booth and post it. And before you say you are doing your own, that one has gone. And it will become a top of the tongue again. So I know why Nigeria is agitating for this. Most especially when they don't like somebody. Nigeria, they are fond of that. There is nothing that person do that will be good. Let's see. But if they like somebody, even though you steal money, yes, you say looking for them, be praising him. You say no, they should leave him. That's who we are in Nigeria. And that's bad. Let us be objective. If ATM can fail you, your phone transaction can fail you, they won't tell you that will fail on that day. So that's where I look at it. Because I'm very objective. It's not about the person or anybody. No. Let's argue it and let's see. And let everybody tell me that it has never happened. That you send money to somebody and the person will get the money. And the bank will never give you the money immediately. They too want to check, and it takes them ages. I've been in UK now, this is 39 years. I've never sent money I experienced within the UK. It has never happened for once. So what are you telling me? So me, I'm totally against it. That's my view. God bless Nigeria.
Mr. Ade, for your contribution. Now, looking at factors when it comes to transmission of results, immediately right after the elections, we are in Nigeria. Now, looking at how feasible it is and how seamless it should be when it comes to electronic transmission of results right after for it to be compulsory, I don't think it is possible. But it should be more favorable, or should I say more agreeable, for you to do the transmission if possible, and then do what you can after. But let's take our next caller.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Idris. Okay, good morning. My name is Mr. Pamukutar from Kano. Okay, so this issue, the INS release electoral results should be compulsory. It's a good idea. It's a good idea, but the problem we expected maybe intentionally the divide the network, or hackers divide the network. If we divide the network, we don't get accurate data. We don't get accurate data that we use in the result to finally at the life. But it's a good idea. It's a good idea. So the problem, Nigeria, we don't have a good technology or good ICT technology that is used this transmission result compulsory in otherwise like other countries.
All right, thank you very much, Mustafa, for that. I'd like to hear from you, Maryam. What do you think? Do you think that it should be made mandatory to electronically transmit these results immediately right after the election? Or do you think that Nigeria is not capable of doing that? But I say if other countries are doing it, then why can't we do it?
You know, with the high level of corruption in Nigeria, you know, that's what allegedly what most Nigerians are saying right now is because, you know, with the ballot box snatching, you know, the election fraud and what have you, it will be too difficult to do it when this is made mandatory. Most of the, you know, we have another caller. We'll come back to that. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Maryam, Idris.
Good morning, Shatima.
Good morning, Hauwa.
Good morning, Shatima.
Morning.
Thank you for calling.
Good. Thank you so much. Well, honestly speaking, as previous callers have said, they have said all what we're supposed to say. This is true. I don't know why we are running faster than our shadow. Let them first and foremost pressurize government to sanitize the environment, make the network be strong, let network to be available and adequate everywhere. So that's the only thing I think this proposal will have a reception. Even though it's a good one, honestly speaking, it's a good one. Nobody can oppose it. But the problem is, are we capable to do it? That's the question. Like my brother Ade was saying, you know, network in Nigeria becomes something else. You cannot do anything successful with that network because it is not everywhere. It is coming and going, and it's sleeping in every second, like our power supply. So we have to stay the truth to ourselves. There is necessary things that they're supposed to do. What are they pressurizing on result transmission? And they say compulsory. That word compulsory is too heavy. You see, you cannot lie to people on something what you cannot do. Because if this thing had been started on the compulsory the way they proposed it, honestly speaking, the end result is failure. Because you see, a lot of people have fallen victim of the network. You can see sometimes to get even a cross TV to make your contribution is a problem. You just have to put your mind at rest and just look at over it. So let us be sincere to ourselves. Let us do what we can do and leave the rest to God. By God's willing, we will reach that level. But government have to be serious, have to be, just committed over it. If not, we cannot see that light, honestly speaking. We know how Nigerian network is fluctuating. It's not stable. It's not stable. This thing everyone knows. If you are a citizen of Nigeria, and there is some areas where there is no even network, how can you say you will transmit the results from the rural area? You see, that's the fundamental problem that we're having. We have to do what we can do and continue where we are. So we should pray and be committed so that we reach that level. Thank you so much and have a nice day.
All right, thank you very much, Shatima,
so
for
Hauwa,
that.
I was talking about the pros and cons. One of the pros is it drastically reduces manipulation. You know, you cannot manipulate the online result easily. Though I know that there is hacking and everything, but it's not that easy to do. Then it enhances transparency and public trust. Right now, we all know that most Nigerians has loses trust on the electoral processes.
Absolutely.
So it will kind of rejuvenate or restore the trust Nigerian youth, not even youth, Nigerians basically have on the electoral processes. It reduces electoral violence. When results are transmitted instantly, attacking polling officials,
there is no space for any kind of misconduct.
Exactly. So there's another faster results declaration. People will be tracking it online, and there will be no, beating around the bush for results for announcing of result. Before I mention the pros, the cons, let's answer this call. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Are you there?
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning. Thank you for joining us. What is your name and where are you calling from?
Yeah, my name is Sandra. I'm coming from Bauchi.
All right, go ahead with your thoughts.
I think that, you see this function. I don't know how we play again. The issue of network or no network issue. They are just looking for ways to manipulate the election result, and that is something. After all, we used to have a fast network, but at the end of the day, they will rectify an issue. Our network, MTN, Glo, and other networks, they do have problems to rectify. For issue of result, the issue of network, that does not arise at all. They are just looking for an excuse to just do it on their own way to manipulate the 2027 election, and that is all. The issue of network does not arise, please. Yes, I had to say something about network, but you should not bring that one at all. They should work on it. They should work on the network. If possible, they should pick up the whole network and use just one network, and that is exactly where it will work. So thank you very much. That's how we take this morning.
All right, thank you very much for that. Now, I believe that for us to have a favorable situation whereby the people are being satisfied, as well as transparency, before we work towards being able to automatically and fully transmit these results electronically, we could do as much as we can in areas that can be accessible, or the network, as we're all complaining, that are not strong. If those areas that can be able to transmit those results immediately, should do it immediately. And the exception that cannot do that can be given that leeway to continue the process as usual, and they can transmit absolutely afterwards. And I think that should be an option before transitioning into something that should be mandatory. But let's take our next caller. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, my sisters.
Yes, thank you for joining us. What is your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Abacha. I'm from Daybreak.
All right, go ahead with your thoughts.
You people are doing a very good job to start with. And with regard to your issue, that electronic result transmission should be compulsory. Yes, should be compulsory. Simply because a lot of advantage, like previous products, with electronic transmission of result, the process will be very transparent. There will be confidence of voters in whatever they have done. However, despite the fact that with all these benefits, some are concerned with the challenges. Any system, there are challenges, there are resistance. And this is government, we're talking of government. They can be able to do it in such a way that it requires little or virtually no network challenges. Like, for example, in rural areas, this is why the problems are. In rural areas, it can be uploaded, but as soon as when they come to urban areas, they can transmit. I think that will go a long way. And however, we should be back up with the manual. It should be back. It's not an automatic transition, but a kind of backup, a parallel. We'll be doing the electronic, and the backup is also there, so that there will be check and balances. Honestly speaking. But when a new thing, especially electronics, came in, we have that history of resistance. Whether we like it or not, technology is the way forward. So we just have to devise a seamless technology that can do that with little or almost with little effort. That's my take. Should be compulsory.
All right, thank you very much for that. Now, there are options before these processes can be absolute, and they can be able to work completely in Nigeria. Now, having to be able to bridge that gap that we do have, finding ways to be able to do the needful in order to have people's minds at ease and understanding, and having confidence in the results that they do see. I think that is one direction that should be taken, but I'd like to hear from you.
Like most of our callers and people are always saying that because of the poor network coverage, there's an infrastructure limitation. We cannot be able to achieve this. We don't have the capability. But one thing I know is that when you're, as a nation, there should be no room for complacency. We shouldn't be stuck in a particular area. We should always improve our electoral processes.
Yes.
We have another.
Let's take our next caller.
Hello, good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
Yes, thank you for joining us. What is your name and where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Borno State.
What is your name?
My name is Mohamed Ahmed Musa.
All right, thank you for joining us. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Okay, you're welcome. This transmission must be compulsory. But government should put her and relate the network so that our voters should count and return gainful for the commitment of Nigerian politics. Otherwise, men are not going out for work because of nothing is going good. So you are welcome. Good day.
All right, thank you very much for that, for your contribution. Yes.
You are welcome.
Now, you see, Maryam, a lot of Nigerians, the only thing that they do need is for it to be transparent, for them to see that there's this effort in making sure that there's transparency when it comes to transmission of these results right after election, and making sure that that gap is bridged, that gap is filled, should be a priority at this point, to make sure that there's, there's no gap in leaving room for any doubt when it comes to the results. Well, we have another caller on the line. Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. My name is
Yes, thank you for joining us. What is your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Chris. I'm calling from Abuja.
All right, go ahead, Prince.
All right. I think personally, I think the transmission of electoral results should be, on the bill, because if we are talking about network issues in Nigeria, I believe we have them virtually in all parts of the country, but we still have ways that we still reach our loved ones, regardless of how far or remote our places or their places are. I can call from here and reach someone in Zamfara, in one of the most remote villages, and come. If you look at the last elections, the 2023 elections, there were some elections that were transmitted. It doesn't necessarily mean that everything must be perfect from the start, but we have to build on it. Transmission of the election result is a step in the right direction to actually get us to where we are going to, talking about election, because if you want everything to be perfect before you start, chances that you may never even start a thing. So if the electronic result transmission is, passed into bill, I believe that there's definitely going to be a way to get those results transmitted directly or live. If you can't transmit it right from the polling booth, before you move maybe 1 or 2 or 3 kilometers, once you submit it from the polling unit, before you move 1 or 2 kilometers from where you are, definitely the device is going to pick up the signal or network to actually send those things. So I believe if we want to do it, there's also a way, but if we don't want, there's always an option and all excuses for us to make. But to me personally, I'm not happy that the electronic result transmission was not passed into the bill. Thank you so much.
Yeah, the first one comes from Isusani Ogedegbe, but he didn't really mention where he's texting from. Says making transmission of election results mandatory is asking for chaos in our elections processes. It is good to include it in our elections process, but it should not be mandatory.
All right, we have another message from Adamu Muhammad Usman from Kafung Hausa in Jigawa State, and he says, good morning, our able presenters. Good morning, Nigeria. I don't think it should be compulsory, but it should be an alternative simply because wuru or maneuver of elections outcome can come in. Nigeria isn't that too advanced, not too faithful and sincere to deliver a result which doesn't favor the ruling party's candidate, but with inshallah, we can, but not now. Providing the equipment on time is another issue in itself. Also, the issue of network challenge is still there as another measure failure. Please don't make it compulsory or the only reliable avenue to get election results, but just let it be as an alternative or a backup measure for the love of God. All right, thank you very much, Adamu Muhammad Usman.
We have
We have another caller on
Before
the
we
line.
come back to the messages.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, thank you for joining us. What is your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Baku Abdul Usman.
All right.
I'm calling you from Kaduna.
All right, thank you for joining us,
Very
Baku.
interesting and nice topic you brought this morning. But the issue of compulsory should not be taken sacrosanct, because when you look at the Nigerian history, best elections ever conducted in Nigeria's elections that were done manually, but people accorded credibility to it, and it flows. So it's all about our mindset and who saddle with the responsibility of doing what is right. When we actually want to do what is right, be it manually or otherwise, we'll get it right. So for me, it shouldn't be compulsory. Looking at network challenges in Nigeria, even when it comes to our financial dealings with banks, we are finding it very difficult to really have our monies transferred here and there, not to say election. If we will make it compulsory, one day we'll wake up and we'll distort our democracy completely. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Baku,
let's go back to the WhatsApp message, and this one is coming from Nandi Bete from Ogoja. It says, good morning, Trust TV. Election results should be transmitted electronically, if not for anything else, for the simple sake of transparency and integrity of the electoral process. During the Babangida military administration, a system called Option A4 was adopted, whereby election results were declared at the polling booth immediately after voting ended. This is while, till date, the June 12, 1993 presidential election is regarded as the freest, truly transparent, and the most credible election ever conducted in our history. Why is the Senate playing games with the aspect of the electoral law? Electronic result transmission should be compulsory to avoid chaos, especially during the 2027 election.
All right, I believe we have another call. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning. How are you?
We're doing well, thank you. Thank you for calling in.
I'm calling from Kano.
All right, go ahead with your thoughts.
The issue of transmission of electronic results, as far as Nigeria is concerned, I think we shouldn't be going back. I know I'm from the north. I know in some areas we don't have good network. But I think that shouldn't be an excuse, because if you look at some villages are even making WhatsApp, they are making phone calls, and they're in rural areas. So I think, as far as I'm concerned, I fully support the transmission of electronic results via the internet. I think that is better. However, since we are in a democratic dispensation, there's nothing wrong in the government or the Senate approving, if you have network, transmit results electronically. If there's no network, you can transmit otherwise. I think there should be an option. We shouldn't be behaving as if we're in a military rule. We're in a democratic dispensation, and that should be respected. We should be having an option all the time. Like I told you earlier on, I know I'm from the north. I know some areas we don't have network. But I think from what is obtainable now, if you look around, I don't think there's any part of the north you hardly move an hour without getting network. So I think if we actually want to be prudent, if we want to have a credible result, the electronic transmission of result is better. However, like I said, we can have an option. If you have an internet in the area you're operating, allow the results to be transmitted electronically. If there is no internet, you do otherwise. I think when we have these two options, the Senate should look at these two options. I think when we have these two options, I think most of these cases will die naturally. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much for that. Now we've heard a lot from our viewers and the callers that called in, and it seems like there should be a way to bridge that gap that we do have, the complaints about not having network in different areas in Nigeria. But then there are other areas that do have, a majority of the areas in Nigeria do have network. So we can have, you know, a way that everything can work together and making sure that there's transparency in these results.
Just like you mentioned earlier in the beginning of this phone interaction where you said there should be a balance. 70% of places in Nigeria have network. They should start the electronic transmission from there before, you know, everywhere.
Yes.
Have you been on TikTok?
Right.
We have villages, people in the villages that come online, so that's not an excuse.
Yes. Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Please, this is the calling back about you.
All right,
Okay.
thank you for calling back. Go ahead.
Yes, what I talked about the chicken again. You see, this debug machine I'm talking of is a very sophisticated machine. It's a very sophisticated machine. In fact, the one is just like providing. And you know, where everybody can provide a network, can connect any network. So that debug machine is using system. So for them using an excuse of network, it's not welcome for them. So please, they should just transmit on results electronically. And that is where you believe them and believe that what they are doing is right. So thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much for that. I believe there's one more message from Elias from Kaduna, and he says electronic transmission of results serve as stoppage to election rigging, therefore it should be mandatory. It's obvious that those against it are still hell-bent to rig the forthcoming election in favor of their usual non-performing act and not to be held responsible for their corrupt tendencies. Nigeria masses, civil society should rise and stand firm against these monsters. All right, thank you very much.
One more before we go, from one more message. Or we have another call. Good morning. Good morning.
My name is Tugo. I'm calling from Kogi State.
Thank you for calling. Go ahead.
I just want to reply the first caller, Ade from London. He said, once you don't like person, you won't like what the person is doing. But it is not wrong. Until we lift settlement out of this country, Nigeria will keep on sinking. Until Nigeria will always move forward when we like one another. When we show commitment. See that it's in London, you should make London and come to Nigeria and stay with us here and see what we are taking. Then the issue of electronic transmission of results. There's no way in Nigeria you will get network. If the government can make it compulsory, that, trust will be there. Because when you are in the police state, the result you saw in the police unit and you also see it in the IRM and in their portal, and they use those funds during the commission, you will see whether you lost or you win, you will see that transparency there. Thank you, my beautiful mothers in the studio. God bless you.
Thank you very much. Then again, Hauwa, there's this message that caught my attention, and I think it should be our last message. It's coming from Wealth from Lagos, and he says, "Good morning, Trust TV. I'm working in a telecommunications company, and I can confidently say that a lot has been done to expand network coverage across Nigeria. Most rural areas are now being connected, and work is still ongoing as we continue to build more sites. Even in deep rural communities, network availability is no longer a major issue. We are deploying both 2G and 3G networks across these areas. Therefore, poor network coverage should not be used as a reason why electronic voting cannot work in Nigeria." Like I mentioned, Wealth from Lagos State.
All right, so that is another update that we do have. Now, it seems like when it comes to network, that means network coverage. There is so much has been covered in Nigeria and should not be an issue. Now, it doesn't matter when the voting is being done. Immediately after it's done, those results need to be transmitted. After they're collated, let them be transmitted so that at least Nigerians can know that, yes, these are the results that we are waiting for. These are the results that we know at least we can be sure of. No manipulation when it comes to it. But I believe we have another caller on the line. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes.
Emmanuel, I'm calling from Abuja.
All right, thank you for joining us, Emmanuel. Go ahead with your thoughts.
This issue of electronic transmission of results, I think this time we give voters with confidence. You know, it is one thing to vote and see another result being posted. And if by the time this electronic transmission of results is made compulsory, you will vote and see the results and confirm for yourself, this is the result that comes to my place. If it is motivated, if it is changed, you will know for yourself that this has been changed. So me, I support completely electronic transmission of results. That is my take.
All right, thank you very much for that.
So there should not be an excuse about the network issue, and also most callers we're talking about hacking. I believe we have lots of people in tech that has vast knowledge on this issue, on this matter. They should create necessary,
safeguards in making sure that they
to make sure it doesn't happen. You know, there's this protective measures they take to make sure people do not hack into this IRF portal and what have you. We have another caller. Good morning.
Good morning, Abasekong, coming from Gombe State.
Thank you for
calling,
morning, Abasekong.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Sincerely speaking, Trust TV people are constantly doing wonderful job. For prudence and for transparency and for probity, you people are really doing awesomely well. Yes, for me, should it be compulsory? Yes, in all dexterity, it should be compulsory. It should be compulsory because there are some sycophants that want to seize opportunity to cause problem. Because once it is not transmitted, anything can happen. The result can be changed. But once you see the results on the social media or on the television being transmitted, then everybody will be at rest. Everybody will say, yes, it is transparent. We are copying the presidential system of the presidential system from America. And America, that is what they do. Why can't we copy everything they are doing? I listened to their president yesterday. I was so elated. Why can't we do the same in this Africa? Let me not say Nigeria, because everything that happens to Nigeria happens to every other place in Africa. So we must change our system, our myopic sense of reasoning. We must change it. And I want to say this: Nigeria broadband statistics stand as thus. We have over 500 languages. So must they force us to act advisedly? No. And we have 715 local governments. So how will we know that what they are doing is transparent? And now, on population, we are having 250 or 60. But I am telling you, because no adequate census has been conducted, they are giving us wrong figure. We are over 500 or 600. So the basic thing they must do is they must be transparent. They must change that idea that we should not know what is happening. We must be in the knowing. Thank you, Trust TV. God bless Nigeria. God bless Trust TV. I really appreciate Trust TV. Thank you.
Nigerian is saying, or every caller is saying, that there should not be an option. It should be mandatory. Now, we're still on the topic of electronic transmission of results. Do you think it should be mandatory or should it be compulsory? Would like to continue hearing from you. So make sure you pick your phones, call us in, share your thoughts. Your voice does matter right here on Daybreak. Now we have another caller on the line. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, how are you?
We're doing well, thank you. What is your name and where are you calling from?
I'm Christopher calling from Court Bank.
All right, go ahead with your thoughts.
I'm hearing you.
Your thoughts?
I'm Christopher from Court.
Thank you for joining us. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Yes, I want to make my critique over the issue of
I think electronic results should be transmission should be compulsory to really eradicate the kind of leadership we have in Nigeria. Because what some of us experience is that those who call themselves leaders don't even hold anything for us, because at the end of the result, they will forge result and submit without the masses, without the influence of the masses on the leadership. So, and that performance becoming very poor in all the constituencies we find ourselves. So I think that electronic transmission result must be enforced to make sure that we eradicate these anomalies in the country.
Thank you very much. You know, Hauwa, I noticed that I believe that all the cons that has to do with the electronic transmission has alternatives, can be taken care of. When it comes to network issue, we even have somebody that works in telecommunication that said we have 80% of Nigeria areas in Nigeria have network
coverage. Yes.
Exactly. And when it comes to hacking, they can actually make provision. You use social media, they have made position that people cannot even hack into your account anymore. So I believe they can make that provision, necessary steps to make sure it's not hacked, or it will be very difficult for the hackers to hack. Then there's this technical failure like glitches and what have you, the IREV, it can be achieved. It can, there should be alternative. And when it comes to high initial cost implementing testing, they said, okay, Nigerians do not really have that money to implement this. I don't believe that will happen. And when these funds are allocated for this, if there should be like away from corruption, nobody should use the money for another thing. They should not, you know, convert the money to another place, divert it to another place. Right. I'm very sure this will be achieved with the money allocated.
Yes, all right. Before you continue, because I know there's more, let's take our next caller. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, thank you for joining us. Could you please turn down the volume of your TV set?
Yes, I'm calling from Kano.
All right, thank you for calling.
Yes, I'm calling for the second time. I'm calling
yes,
back
thank you for calling back.
Yes, thank you for calling back then.
I think I still want to make it emphatic that the transmission of electronic result is necessary in Nigeria. Why should we have the phobia of not transmitting the result electronically? If we are talking about network coverage, we should make comparison. Those that are kidnapping people, the areas they are living, they are not even areas elections are taking place. So if people can kidnap, if these people can kidnap persons and then go to the bush, make phone calls and demand for ransom, then why should we be having phobia of transmitting results electronically? I think that should not be an issue. We should allow, if actually the government is trying to make credible results, I think we should be transmitting these results electronically. I don't see any reason why Nigeria should not transmit these results electronically. Like I said, I know the part of Nigeria I'm coming from the north. I know there are areas you don't have network, but hardly now can you move an inch, not more than 30 minutes, or sometimes even 15 minutes. You will not get an internet. And since they said these devices that are going to transmit these results electronically, as soon as you reach an area where there's network, they will upload automatically. So why should we be having phobia? Except if they want to kidnap our results too. Otherwise, these results should be allowed to be transmitted electronically. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that. Maryam, I believe it is time in Nigeria that we believe in ourselves, that's for one. And secondly, there should be progression when it comes to our processes. We should not be stuck in the past. If there's something that is doable, we should at least try as much as possible to be able to achieve it. A lot of countries in Africa have achieved being able to transmit their results electronically immediately right after collation of those results. Now, having to be able to do that, even if there are gaps, as I mentioned earlier, we should be trying as much as possible to be closing those gaps inch by inch. Try as much as possible to see that we still have, the confidence of our people in us. Those in power should make sure of that. It should be an utmost priority in making sure that we see that, yes, you're trying as much as you can in making sure that we still have the belief, the confidence, and seeing that there's transparency in the process. Let us be, part of the process as soon as possible, seeing those results.
The question is, when will this be mandated, if not now? We're in 2026, and like you mentioned, most African countries have done this and has succeeded. And it's no longer news, and it's embarrassing to say, but Nigeria is really lagging behind. We used to be the giant of Africa, but now it's just on population, not on infrastructure. Lots of African countries have surpassed us on that. So just like you mentioned, let's start this. We have lots of areas that have this network. Mandate this electoral reforms, electronic processes on these areas first to see how it goes. Then along the line, we have these are the general elections in 2027, but we still have elections in other states along the line, and we have local government
elections
and area
as
council
well.
Elections. Let's start with that to see how it goes.
I believe one thing we just don't understand, or it's hard to see, is that in cases like this, especially when it comes to public trust, and when you say that electronic transmission of results should not be immediate and should not be compulsory, that just opens another can of worms for Nigerians to have some kind of mistrust. That means that there's going to be some sort of manipulation or any other thing that might affect
that period that you just keep quiet. As a Nigerian, you're waiting for hours for the result to be announced.
Absolutely. But we have another caller. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
You're not quite audible. Yes, we cannot hear you clearly. Hello, are you with us? You're not quite audible. All right. Make sure you call us back, so that we can hear your thoughts and opinions. Your thoughts do matter. The question still remains, should electronic transmission of results be immediate and compulsory at this point in Nigeria during 2027 election is just around the corner.
It's going to be very interesting.
Exactly, and a lot of people have lost faith. But we have another caller on the line. Let's take that caller. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, thank you for joining us. What is your name and where are you calling from? All right, it is hard to hear you. Could you turn down the volume of your TV set so that we can hear you clearly?
Okay, can you hear me now?
Okay,
yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, what I'm saying I think the issue of
All right, I believe you have an issue with your connectivity. Could you move to another area and call us back? We'd like to actually hear from you. Now, Maryam, you were about to say something.
Yeah, I said most activities and processes in Nigeria now goes online. They are online. When you're looking for a job, you look for it online.
Absolutely.
When you're recruiting for a job, you go online. Jam, and now online, you know, NICO, everything is turning online. So why not the electoral reforms, like electoral processes?
All right, we have another caller on the line. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Hauwa.
Do we have Usman Center IQ with us? I believe your network is a bit shaky.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
The network is really bad from your end. We lost the caller.
All right.
All right, Hauwa, and I believe, like I mentioned earlier, even when JAM were having problems, there were alternatives. You know, nobody said, no, go back to the traditional way of writing JAM. So I believe there should be alternatives to the cons of this.
Yes.
Well,
I believe, Maryam, that's all we have, right?
Yeah. So that's all we have for today on the phone interaction. I believe this brings us to the end of it.